2026 really is the new 2016. Even the NFL draft is getting in on the trend with a guy that has almost the exact same skill set as Jared Goff being a lock for the #1 overall pick. But there's a lot more to Fernando Mendoza than just being a copy and paste version of Goff. He has a star trait that Goff lacks that puts his ceiling as a top 10 quarterback in the NFL. But before we dive into his strengths and weaknesses, let's quickly talk about who Mendoza is. Fernando Mendoza was a 2-star recruit that didn't get much attention initially coming out of Columbus High School in Miami. Yale was his only option as a preferred walk-on, but then Cal gave him an opportunity that would eventually change his life forever. Mendoza flipped his commitment to Cal after they offered him a full-ride scholarship. He redshirted his first year before finally getting a chance to start in 2023 after injuries to the two quarterbacks in front of him. He didn't set the world on fire, but he did enough to earn the starting job for 2024. That's when everything really started to come together for him. He threw for just over 3,000 yards, 16 touchdowns, and had nearly a 69% completion percentage in 11 games. His biggest moment by far was when Cal nearly upset Cam Ward's #8 Miami team, going toe-to-toe with the eventual Heisman winner in a 39-38 thrilling loss, foreshadowing things to come for Mendoza. After the 2024 season, he transferred to Indiana to play on the same team as his younger brother, where he would go on to rewrite the history of Indiana by winning the Heisman and national championship. ESPN did a really cool profile on him and his Miami roots that I'm going to put in the description. I cannot recommend this article enough. You gotta go give it a read. But what exactly is the star quality that separates him from being a good quarterback like Goff? Well, if you watch the national championship game, it perfectly showcased all of Mendoza's strengths, including what makes him special. Fernando is a technically sound quarterback. He has great throwing mechanics, he consistently delivers an accurate and catchable ball, even when he's on the run. When he does have to scramble, he does a great job of keeping his eyes down the field to try to find someone coming open. But if they don't, he is capable of using his legs to pick up some yards. One of his best traits is his ability to process coverages quickly and to make the correct read to keep the offense in rhythm. He seems to play his best when he doesn't really have time to overthink things. The last drive against Penn State was a perfect example of this. Every throw on that drive was either a 1 or 3-step drop, and he was delivering the ball to his first read with anticipation. He has the arm strength to make almost every throw in the playbook, so there shouldn't be any area of the field that's off limits to him. He also throws one of the best back shoulder balls you'll ever see, which puts DBs in an impossible situation on deep balls and in the red zone. To cap it all off, he is one of the toughest players I have ever seen by far. Nothing seems to rattle him. Even when he is taking shots to the head, he gets right back up, ready for the next down. But what I believe is going to put him in that top 10 quarterback range is his ability to rise to meet the pressure of the moment. He started to show signs of it at Cal, but really started to thrive during Indiana's championship run. Time and time again this season, he was asked to meet the moment, and every single time he did, capping it off with this run.
He takes it, he looks, and he runs it. No, he runs it, and he ties for the end zone. Does he get it in? Touchdown! Fernando Mendoza runs the football and scores.
But there's no such thing as a perfect prospect, and even Mendoza has his weaknesses. For Mendoza, some of his weaknesses are obvious, but the most concerning one is much more subtle than that. Physically and athletically, Mendoza isn't going to wow you. At 6'5", 225 pounds, he needs to add more muscle to hold up against the bigger hits he's going to take consistently at the next level. Also, while he isn't a statue in the pocket, he doesn't have the agility to be anything more than a straight line runner. He lacks the quickness to be a serious threat with his legs, like a Jaden Daniels or a Brock Purdy. If a lane opens up and the defense has their back turned, he can pick up some yards, but don't really expect him to run the read option or shake edge rushers out of their cleats. He also needs to develop some of the finer points of playing quarterback, like being able to hold safeties with his eyes. But the biggest concern for me is kind of hard to explain actually. He occasionally will just bail on a clean pocket and run himself into pressure. It most often happens when he doesn't seem to trust his first read. Like on this play right here. He gets the matchup he wants and makes the correct read. The defensive end has no chance of covering the running back on a wheel route. But for some reason, he doesn't pull the trigger and ends up having to throw the ball away. There are plenty more examples like this in the film. At Indiana, these plays didn't often come back to haunt him because he was able to make something happen or throw the ball away. But at the next level, the window for guys getting open is going to be much muddier, and he won't be able to create like he did in college. He needs to be better about trusting what he's seeing, even when it's muddy, and letting it rip. Whether Mendoza reaches his ceiling or not is ultimately going to come down to landing in the right situation. But what exactly does that look like for him? Fernando's skill set would do well in most passing schemes, but he would thrive in a timing-based West Coast offense like Shanahan's or McVay's. His ability to process coverages quickly and deliver accurate balls in rhythm is exactly the kind of passer this system requires. In a spread offense, like Cliff Kingsbury or Brian Daboll's, His lack of mobility would be a poor fit because of the quarterback design runs that the system requires. What's around him is going to matter just as much as the system he's playing in, though. I believe he's good enough to elevate any receiver he plays with because of his ability to fit the ball into tight spaces and layer his throws, but he won't be able to overcome a bad offensive line. Mendoza is going to have to rely on his line to give him time to throw since he won't be able to create much on his own. So any team that drafts him is going to have to invest heavily in the offensive line. Overall, Mendoza is absolutely the top quarterback in this draft class and will be debated as a top 10 pick in this league by the end of his third year. Raiders fans should be ecstatic to land him as a franchise quarterback. He's going to be a fan favorite by the time training camp rolls around, I guarantee it, if they stay with the number 1 pick. But the biggest question is, do you trust the Raiders to set him up for success? Thank you so much for watching. I'm Emmett Sorrell from the RFL Show, and I'll see you in the next video.